YouTube. I was going to add this to the last video, but the last video got kind of long, so I thought I'd make this a separate one. So what I've done is I've gathered around some of the Harbor Freight stuff that I've bought over the years. I've had more good luck than I have bad luck, let's put it that way. The majority of the stuff I've bought has been decent for me to use without spending an extravagant amount of money. So what I'm going to do is just go through a few things that I've bought and that I thought were a real good deal, and a few things in the shop. I've got an air compressor and a few other things around that I'll show you when I take the camera off its stand. But let's start here on this corner. I bought this probably about 3 months ago, and it's a digital caliper. As you can see, you turn it on and you can zero it. It does inches, centimeters, it's just about anything you want. When I bought it, I was kind of curious of whether I'd even use it, but it was on sale, and I thought, well, I'll buy it and see how it does. And I am really surprised how much I've used it. It has really been a good tool. When I want to try to find a thickness of wood, or need a bolt or a drill bit or something like that, and I'm trying to find the diameter of it or something like that, it has come in real handy. And I've used it a lot more than I thought I would. This I bought at Harbor Freight, and it's brand new. I've turned it on and made sure it worked, but you know, I haven't used it. I got one of those super coupons for $59. No, I take that back, $49. They're usually like $89. So I told my wife, that's just too good a deal to pass up. It's called a double cut saw. And it's got actually 2 blades on it. I don't know if you can see the 2 blades, and you can cut metal and all kinds of different stuff with it. It's got a stick in here that you can put in here, and it lubricates the blade as you cut, like if you're cutting a real thick metal or something like that. I really haven't had an opportunity to use it yet, so I can't really tell you anything about it, but one of these days I'll use it and maybe do a review on it. This is one of the handiest things I ever bought at Harbor Freight. It is a roller stand. Now they sell these at Lowe's, but they're like twice as much. And it's like a pedestal, and it's got the rollers on it. I think they're like $19.95 or $24.95 or something like that. You can get them on sale. And they come in real handy when I'm sawing long pieces. Matter of fact, on this table that I'm using right now, I've got another one over there. I've got my jaw horse over here clamped to the wood, and then on the other side I have one of these rollers that hold up the other side. And when you're cutting long wood like plywood or something like that, and you got to hold it up, these really come in handy. That was a real good buy. Let's see. Keyhole Set. You know, they're like $4.99, and I figure if I use each blade one time, I've got my money's worth out of it. Little magnetic trays. You can get these on sale. Sometimes they're even free when you got coupons. And they really come in handy when you're working on cars, or you're doing something, or you're using a lot of screws and stuff like that. You can see the piece of metal stays in there. Doesn't hold as good as I hoped it would, but they do work. So that's not a bad buy. This is a 1/2-inch impact wrench. It does a real good job. I have my Harbor Freight air compressor over there. It is 150 PSI. I think a 29-gallon tank. I'll show it to you here in a minute. But I bought it because I have a dump truck and skid steer service. And I haven't tried to take the lug nuts off the dump truck, but I tell you what, I took the lug nuts off that skid steer and it worked great. I've used it probably 10 times and had a bit of problem out of it. It's real strong, seems to be well made, and probably half the price of what you pay for one at a box store. This little brad nailer is a nice little tool. I've used it a lot. I remodeled our bathroom last year, and I use this brad nailer for the trim and stuff like that, and it really comes in handy. Also, when I do woodworking projects, if I'm doing like a butt joint or something like that and I need to hold it in place, these little brad nailers really work well. This glue gun I bought because I'm a fan of Izzy Swan's. And he said the best tool you can have in your shop is a glue gun. Well, this one works halfway decent, except the trigger doesn't like to advance the glue stick. I've sometimes got to push the glue stick in order to get it to work. So if I was to give this a rating as a Harbor Freight tool, I'd probably go about 2.5, 3 on it out of 5. It doesn't work as well as I'd hoped, and I may have to go to Lowe's or go to another box store somewhere and buy a better brand name for my glue gun. This multimeter I bought at Harbor Freight, again for a fraction of what it would have cost me somewhere else. Works good, don't have any problems with it. I've used it several times. This is one of the best tools I ever bought. It's one of these little vibrator saws, and it works really well. I've really been happy with it. I've used this probably more than any other Harbor Freight tool I've bought, and it does a really good job. I've been real happy with it for cutting like holes in walls for light sockets or electrical outlets, or trimming off a piece of wood that's too long or something like that. Man, it comes in handy. The blades are a little bit expensive, and I don't like the Harbor Freight blades because they don't last. So normally when I buy blades for it, it's got a universal end on it, so you can buy blades anywhere for it. It's not conclusive to Harbor Freight. I usually go to a box store and get the blades because the Harbor Freight blades aren't very good. These wood clamps, it's unbelievable how much Lowe's wants for a wood clamp. One this size, Harbor Freight's going to ask probably, Lowe's is probably going to ask $17, $18 for it. I'll buy these at Harbor Freight for like $3.99. And I've got 4 of them hanging on the wall, and I use them all the time. And you got a trigger on it and you pump it like that, and man, it holds really good. I've been real pleased with it. It does a good job. I don't need to clamp it. But for $3.99, you can't beat it. You can't beat that for what compared to what you buy in a big box store. And I've used them several times. Never had a problem out of any of them. They're a good clamp. I bought a compressor checking kit, compression gauge gauge to check compression on a car. Been having problems with my 1-ton. I was going to do a compression check on it, so I went down to Harbor Freight and bought this kit. Haven't even used it. I figured out it was electrical and not the motor itself. And but I work on cars and stuff once in a while, so I'll eventually use it. But it's a nice little compression tester. Let's see. Of course, I have a tap and die set, and I've used it several times. I don't know if the camera can pick up on it or not, but it's a nice set. A fraction for what it costs at Lowe's or someplace like that. I keep the foam on it, and then I lay a piece of paper towel across that, because if you don't, when you close the box and you pick it up, all of the pieces fall out. So probably the only complaint I would have with this is the case. Like I said, if you don't put that paper towel on there, it will, when you pick it up, all your pieces will fall out, the smaller pieces. This is a tile saw right here. I was remodeling my bathroom last year. My son-in-law is a professional tile layer, and he didn't have a saw, and he was helping me with it, so I went to Harbor Freight and bought this one. I paid probably $59, $69 for it, something like that. And we did the whole bathroom floor with it. And then he used it about a month ago on a job that he was doing somewhere else, and just brought it back. Don't like to borrow my tools, but I let him use this because he needed the job. But it does a real good job. Haven't had a bit of problem out of it. It's a wet saw for tile. This is the router that I featured on one of my videos. I made a router table for it that hooks up to my table saw, and it has been a real good router. The plastic piece here is a little bit shaky. I'm real careful about tightening it down too tight because I'm afraid it might break. But I've been happy with it. It's a mini router. It doesn't do the job as a regular sized router does, but for small jobs and for doing dados and stuff like that, it works good. Again, the price was right. I didn't pay as much for it as I would have at a box store, and it's been a good little router. I've been real happy with it. I'm going to shut the camera off and pick it up and walk around the shop a little bit. There's a couple other Harbor Freight things that I'd like to show you. Okay, just about everything on this table is Harbor Freight. I bought this little 90 amp welder from Harbor Freight. It was on sale for $89. And I don't do a lot of welding. I'm not a welder, but when I need to tack a piece of metal or fix a little piece on the dump truck or something like that, or on my equipment trailer, it does the job. It's not very pretty because, like I said, don't really know how to weld, but that's why I didn't pay much for a welder. This one does just fine for me, and I've had it for a couple of years, and it's done a real good job. I haven't had any problems with it. The little helmet that comes with it is garbage. I guess you're supposed to weld and hold this helmet up at the same time, and it don't work. So I bought a regular helmet, welding helmet for it. And over here, I bought this airline reel. I've got it attached down here to this table, so it's nice and solid. When I first built the garage, I wanted a nice compressor and airline, so I could use my air tools and air up tires on the dump truck and stuff like that. And I needed something strong enough to air up those big dump truck tires. So I bought this reel. I paid $49 for it at Harbor Freight, and it has no problems at all. It does a real good job. As you can see, it rolls out, and then you just pull it back again like that, and it reels right up. Does a good job. This is my compressor. It's a central pneumatic air compressor. Again, I bought it when I built the garage about a year ago, and I have used it a lot and haven't had any problems with it. As you can see right now, it has air in it. The only time it leaks any air or I lose pressure at all is if I have an attachment hooked up to it, like an air gun or something like that. The only con that I would say about this air compressor is on the bottom there's an air chuck in the center of the tank to drain the air on it, so you can get the water and stuff out of the tank. And it's kind of, you got to kind of get on your knees and reach underneath there and pull that, turn that drain cock to let the air out. So I made this little, if you can see it very well or not, I made a little piece of PVC pipe with a slot in it and hung it to this rail right here. And so when I want to drain the air on it, I just turn it one way like that, and it drains it. So that was my concoction for that. That's the only complaint I had about this air compressor. I wish they would have put some kind of a valve on the outside so you could reach it to drain it. I try to drain it out every night to keep the water, moisture and stuff out of it, because Texas is so humid it gets a lot of moisture. All right, I bought this toolbox at Harbor Freight. It's a U.S. General, and yeah, it's, you know, probably not as nice as a S.K. Wayne or Sears Craftsman or some of those other real Matco or some of those other real fancy ones. But it's a good little toolbox. I've had it several years and haven't had any problems. All the drawers work. For the price I paid for it at Harbor Freight, it was on sale, I think for $139. I got a super coupon on it, and can't beat it. It's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drawers plus the storage on the bottom. So it's been a good toolbox. I can't complain. For the price you pay for a toolbox like at Sears or even at the big box stores, it's just ridiculous what they want for these toolboxes. And I thought this was a pretty good deal for this toolbox. Let's see, I got one more thing I want to show you, and then I'll get this video finished. This is that washer you can buy at Harbor Freight. I've been looking at it for about a year now, and been kind of wanting one to wash parts and stuff. A couple months ago it went on sale. No, it didn't go on sale. It had a 25% coupon. And so I went down there and got it. It was $99. I got it for $74.99 or something like that. And I've used it again several times, and I have never had any problems with it. It's got the switch here on the side. Turn it on. And it's doing a good job, you know. I had a lot of people said their pump went out right away or the little nozzle leaked and stuff like that. But I guess I've just been lucky because it's been done a great job for me. I've been real happy with it. It works real good. But anyway, like I said, when you buy stuff at Harbor Freight, I always look at the reviews, do a little bit of research, watch a few review videos, and I have to be careful what I buy. But I think all in all, Harbor Freight is a real good place to buy tools at a reasonable price. And I'm not embarrassed whatsoever by having Harbor Freight tools in my garage. So we'll see you next time, and I hope this Harbor Freight review helped a few of you when you go over there and start buying the things you need for your shop.